All right. Let's see if I can make the magic work.
It better be the biggest news in college football.
Swung on. There goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record.
I didn't think you'd have a sound clip yet. A sound bite.
Oh yeah. I was all over it. Once I saw that I could find Sterling, I was like, I gotta play that for people. we were like a half hour off from being able to call it live again.
I know. I was thinking about that. Obviously, awesome that he got the homer. Bummer it wasn't live again. But what I'm thinking now is clearly the pod is a good luck charm. 61 and 62 both came on podcast nights. So we need to record a podcast every playoff
60
game.
Came the day the podcast was released.
Oh, is that right? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
even more. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So we just need to record every night in October when they are playing.
Exactly. Exactly right. Yep.
Can they be
win the World
podcasts so
Series.
like the Miller Lite 1 second Super Bowl commercials?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh man. Cheese dip. Hot dog flavored pepperoni.
Oh, my God.
They
You guys
just
remember those? Come on, you guys gotta remember those, right?
they just did
I
the
don't know if I do.
Booney just did the classy thing and took Judgy out at the top of the inning here. Or at the bottom of
So
the
everybody
inning.
could clap for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting a nice ovation.
Nice. Love it.
I mean, it was Matt. I don't mean to cut you off, but it was hilarious. His last at bat today during the first game, like Higgy walked right before it, and the crowd went crazy for the walk. Like it was so fucking funny.
Oh, because they were hoping that meant Judge was not going to get walked. Is that?
No, just like Judge was coming up one more time.
Oh, just
Yeah,
excited that he
they
was
were
coming
just
up.
So happy. Yeah. On the same night, this is a great night so far. Cole set the single season strikeout record for the Yankees.
Right.
Well.
Finally breaking. This is a really interesting thing. And I think me and Colin have talked about it. I don't know if all three of us have, but it's funny. You think about New York Yankees history and all of the legendary players and all of the legendary seasons and stats and records and blah, 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 blah. And what's really kind of surprising to me is that up until today, the record for most strikeouts by a Yankee pitcher was like 248, I think. Ron Guidry in 1978, I think, right? Was it 78 or 79?
78.
Okay. Yeah, and he had an amazing year that year. He was amazing. But like it's so crazy to think about that, you know? Because obviously when we think about the Yankees, we think of like the storied history. It's kind of strange to me that like that was the record for almost 50 years, 248, which is really good. But, there have been plenty of seasons where people are in the high 200s, let alone 300s. I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, who are the last major strikeout pitchers we've had? Like
Moose.
Rocket never played a full season for us because he was always like, I'm retired. No, I'm not. I'm going to come back in the middle season.
And he
That's
wasn't in
not-
his
that's not
prime.
that's not true at all.
He played like a half a season for like 5 seasons for us.
No,
No,
he played a half a season for us in his last season.
Yeah, and like other stuff too, right? Come on.
Not at the time.
Other stuff.
That's,
And then like
that's
Randy was
revisionist
like
history.
Randy was busy punching photographers to get too many strikeouts.
Randy was old. I mean, Randy was
Yeah,
like 41 when we got him.
Moose had a bunch of nice seasons, I think, early on. Might
But
even
he was
led-
never a strikeout pitcher, though.
I'm pretty sure he led the league in strikeouts a couple times.
Really?
I'll look it up for you. Mike Mussina.
Matthew, I'm about to valedict the valedict.
Oh boy.
Here are the innings totals for the seasons that Roger Clemens pitched for the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was only the last time.
187.2, 204.1, 220.1, 180, 211.2.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the very last year in 2007 when he came back, that was 99 innings. So that
Come on,
very
if he's
last
the Rocket,
year,
though, like why isn't he pitching 300 innings? Come on.
he never did. Yeah, but
Come
he
on,
did
I want
throw
30
250,
starts of-
260.
I want 30 starts of 10 innings each. Is that too much to ask for?
So Mussina did not ever lead the league, but he had to be close a couple times. Like there's a 218, a 210, 214 in his first year with
Okay,
the
all right.
Yankees. That was his high water mark, actually.
Yeah.
He led the league in FIP that year, 2.92.
Yeah. God, Moose was so good. So underrated.
Yeah. But interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Okay. Really quickly, it's just totally random, and then I'm sure we have stuff we actually need to do. I meant to text you guys.
Matt apparently wants to talk about something in college football related, which surprised me.
Oh, yeah. But before we do that, I meant to text you guys this, and I don't think I did. AJ Burnett, a.k.a. Ass Job Burnett, who I never cared for. I can't remember I don't think you guys particularly liked him either, right? But I was looking this up recently. Now, I always thought that his Yankees tenure was like a total disaster.
I had 2 good years.
Yep. I was reading about this recently. And hold on, let me find it. Where is it?
Remember, it was Pavano that was a total disaster.
Pavano was a total disaster. But here's what shocked me. Not only, so by WAR, AJ only had 1 good year with us by WAR. But the shocker, it was his first year with us. He had 4.5 WAR, which is very solid. Not only that, by WAR, by Baseball Reference WAR, best season of his career.
Yeah.
Was 2009 Yankees. I was fucking shocked.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the times that we went to go see him in Syracuse because he was always on a rehab assignment. And I think we all agreed that if he could stay healthy, he had some
good
nasty
stuff.
Yeah, he had good stuff.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, because what, didn't he go to the Pirates after and like actually have 2 or 3 decent seasons? Like
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't quite a Sonny Gray thing where he couldn't
or
handle
Javi
pressure,
Vasquez,
obviously, or right, Javi Vasquez, but he definitely wore out his welcome pretty quickly after. I think he was gone in 2011, maybe. So
yeah, so it's like 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
Oh yeah, and remember though, he was overshadowed that first year. The other 2 signings we had in 2009 were
Teixeira and CeCe, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
he could easily become a bit player that year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was huge. They lost game 1 of the World Series. He came back, won game 2. You know,
that is big. Yeah.
That's big. Going into Philly, defending world champions and everything, like especially the way Cliff Lee dominated them in game 1. That was as big a start as there's been since the dynasty days.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know?
Yeah.
I would say the other big start was the 2017 wild card game, and Severino completely shit the bed in that. So they just got lucky that the Twins are just terrible.
Jiffy Lube for the Yankees, as Mike Schur said. They if the Yankees are struggling, having issues, the Twins get us tuned right up, get us ready to go. Okay, really quickly though, before we do any more sports talk or whatever else we're gonna do, let's do beer because we have to give Mr. Matt Root a shout out. So
Mensch Matt.
Yep, Mensch Matt, exactly. Mensch Matt, one of his many characters, alter egos. Tonight, Colin and I are both drinking the legendary Heady Topper from the Alchemist Brewing in Vermont, one of the OG hazy IPAs, super famous beer, and even to this day, not that easy to get, right, Matt?
Becoming easier. Like I bought this in Philadelphia.
Okay, all right.
It says on the back, drink this beer immediately. We're always making more.
Yeah, I mean it showed up like twice in the past year down here. So
okay, so not as rare as it like used to be. It used to be really hard to get, right? Like a few years ago.
It still is really hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt sent both of us some Heady, and so
it's delicious.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah,
it's got a 5-star for me on Untapped.
You don't have to give it a 5-star.
No, it's delicious.
Although if you look, I will just say
it's
because
4.54 overall.
Because I want to have OG beer credentials here. If you look at my badges on Untapped, you get a badge for your first check-in, and it just so happens, and I'm giving it away now, but I'm trying to scroll. For those of you not watching the YouTube, I'm trying to scroll through my Untapped.
It's really sexy. Matt is scrolling and I'm chewing. It's awesome. This is really good video footage right now.
Come on, badges, beer badges. Come on. Number 1.
Are you looking for a specific beer badge on Tap?
Yeah.
Don't you have like thousands of badges? How do you narrow it down?
I didn't even know you could look back at them. I just always like swipe them away after I check something in.
Yeah, you can go look at your badges. So I mean, what I'm scrolling through is like, beer badge number 1, Eddie Topper.
Eddie Topper. Wow.
Wait, what does that mean? Number 1.
The first beer I checked in on Untapped was Eddie Topper.
Oh,
And that must have been a long time ago at this point, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say how long ago, but it was long ago.
Say it.
Not
Say
long
it.
enough for how many beers I've drank. Put it that way.
Say it.
June 26, 2014.
Oh, okay. I would have guessed even longer than that. That's not too bad.
No, I held off for a bit at the beginning. I had a very similar idea for an app. I'll put it that way. I was very bitter at first, and now I'm just addicted to the app.
Some Silicon Valley bro stole it from you?
Well, so I actually pitched it to a Silicon Valley bro.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Oh, I had diagrams, I had charts, I had everything.
Holy shit.
And yeah, he said he didn't see the appeal to it, but he wasn't in the beer community. But I was talking about like being able to scan beers and then like in the app tell people where you bought it. Like, so if I wanted to say like, oh, I want blazed orange, and then they'd be like, oh shit, who else has blazed orange near me? And like, whoop.
Yeah. That's how I
Yeah.
found a certain beer for my dad in the Raleigh area when I first started using Untapped. Like I was able to look up where you can get beer in the local area. I'd never been able to do that before, so that was futuristic.
Yeah.
That was good.
Now I'm not resentful. I'll shout out to Adam Derwicki. He was the guy I pitched it to. He had his own tech startup out there called Camera Lens, LENDS. Get it? She sold off, but that was essentially Airbnb for camera equipment. So
Yeah.
you could rent your high-end camera equipment to people who needed it for certain days. And
Well, that's
pretty cool idea. Yeah, that was like 15 years ago. So it's pretty cool. He's a cool guy. Really freaking smart. But anyway, the beer I'm drinking is, like I said, blazed orange. I also sent each one of you guys one of them. This is
Yep.
probably my top 3, top 5 favorite brewers right now.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It's Hop Butcher for the World.
We've talked about them. That's right.
Yes, and for those, I don't think I've elaborated for it, but one of my favorite poets is Carl Sandburg, and I did not get this, and I'm angry at myself because there's only really like 2 poems I actually know, so I don't even know if I can say he's one of my favorite poets. But one of them is the fog comes in on little cat feet. Shout out to Boris, little cat feet. But his other, with the main poem Carl Sandburg is famous for is Chicago. City of broad shoulders, hog butcher for the world. Well, Hop Butcher for the World is a Chicago-based brewery that does, mainly IPAs. For a long time, they were a gypsy brewery. I think I've said that before. They did finally buy a spot. They bought the old half-acre brewery on Lincoln Ave. The only reason I know that is because right across the street's one of my favorite restaurants in the world. It's called the Bad Apple. Shout out John Horton. Go to the Bad Apple. They have fucking amazing burgers there, and they've got a great beer selection. And Ethan, shout out to you if you ever go to Chicago to go there. They have a burger called the Edmund Fitzgerald, and they make a fig braised gelatinous sauce to put on top of the burger.
Ooh, that sounds
Edmund
nice.
Fitzgerald porter.
Fuck
Edmund
yeah.
Fitzgerald fig braised cheese sauce on top. Ooh, it's so good. Oh, my favorite is called the slow burn. It's got like slow roasted chili peppers, and it's called the slow burn because it's not hot in your tongue, but it's hot in your esophagus. Ooh, that's such a good burger. So John and I would always go and get beers to share, and then we cut each of our burgers in half and swap.
Oh, nice.
And it was amazing. And
Love
Ethan,
it.
I know you were burger pals, so if we ever are in Chicago,
yes, exactly. Yeah, we will do that. 100%. Yeah.
But Hop Butcher, they were a gypsy brewery. They've got their own spot now, and they do amazing hoppy beers. This is turning into a commercial for them. They don't repeat beers very often. Blazed Orange is one of their original, and it's one of their best. And it's one of
let's get a sponsorship from them. Kyle, get on that.
Great.
Okay.
And also, I've never actually had Blazed Orange before I bought this. What I had was their Colin. They make a milkshake version, which tastes like an orange creamsicle, and
Yummy.
My goodness, it's so good.
Yeah.
That was the first Hop Butcher beer I had, and I was like, I'm gonna buy every single one I ever see ever. And to this day, every time I see it at my local beer shop, I buy it.
First impressions matter.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to visit their actual brewery.
Well,
beergasm over. Okay.
Yeah. So Matt had the idea for Untapped before Untapped happened, and I wanted to say that I had the idea for Twitter before Twitter happened. I didn't put together charts or anything fancy like that, but I definitely saw value in the good of Twitter. There's not a lot of good in Twitter, but
well, that's the difference though in this world is I'm pretty sure probably a lot of people had that our ideas like we did, but it's that one person that makes it happen. Yeah. Fuck you, Jack Dorsey.
Fuck you. But Jack, was that who it was for a long time with Twitter before Elon wanted
That's
to buy
what you
it
just
out?
said, right, Matt? Jack Dorsey, right?
Okay.
Oh, that was
okay. I don't. Yeah. It's okay if he's not listening. It's okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize that was literally the same guy.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey, who now I think like lives on an island in French Polynesia or something. Fuck you again, Jack Dorsey.
Speaking of listening, before we get to whatever Matt wants to talk about with college football, I was listening back to last week's episode, and it didn't hit me at the time, Matt, but because I'm a supportive friend, I was at that game, your personal worst loss of your life. And
I know you were.
I had forgotten how cold it was.
Oh, you were at that game, Kyle?
That day. Oh my God. Yeah. The reason I remembered is because I just had the trauma going through it again at Penn State this past weekend. And then I'm listening to the podcast and I was like, I sat through one of those games when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, you did. You were there.
It was in Rome.
now you know what? It was in Rome. Yep. No, it was in Utica. It was versus Rome and Utica.
I just know we got on a bus. I remember that.
Yep. The tribe rode the bus, and that's a good segue to faithful, I'm buying time right now, faithful pod listener who emailed me a question the other day that I really want to make sure I address. Lorraine Pascarella. Sorry, Lorraine, I couldn't remember your new name. But Lorraine was the first person I saw after that game, and I gave her a big hug. And I remember that, like, worst loss of my life. The leader of the student section, Lorraine, was there. Give her a big hug. May have been crying a little bit because it was that slow realization that it was like the last time I was ever going to play football. So it was tough. And then for like a hot minute in college, I thought I was going to play again. And the strength was still there. I was still outlifting some of the guys on the team. But man, the running stamina, I could not pass the endurance test. Like the basic endurance test to qualify for the team. And I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I could still outlift most of the team. And I remember I was lifting with them for about 2 weeks. And the strength coach was like, man, you got good form. And I was like, I know, I did this for a while. But I was bad. It was really bad. They were like, you need to run a mile and 2 miles in 10 minutes or something bullshit like that. And I was like,
wait, 2 miles in 10 minutes?
It was like 2 miles in 12 minutes or something like that.
6 miles.
That's brutal, isn't it?
For the running backs, so that was what they wanted.
For running backs, sure, but even for fullbacks?
Yeah, fullback was a running back.
No shit. Wow, okay.
So my fastest mile ever was 6 minutes and 50 seconds, and I felt like my heart was going to blow up after I did that. So anyway, Lorraine, friend of the podcast, Lorraine, we need to get her on here. Lorraine, if you're listening, get on the podcast. I want to send you a mug. Saw my Instagram over the weekend. I was lucky enough, this past week was my birthday. And my wonderful girlfriend took me on a cannoli tour of Philadelphia.
Oh, this looked really cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we went to Italy, and I had mentioned 17 times that I wanted the cannoli, and I never got one. So she got
holy cannoli.
She got she got the brilliant inspiration. Like, well, we're going to do this here then. So being the outstanding planner that she is, she cross-referenced 4 or 5 of the lists of top cannoli in Philadelphia. She did the search and cross-references well, I found the 3 that appeared on all the lists. And so then she mapped it out and okay, if we park here, it's less than a 15-minute walk to each of them. In a big loop.
I love this efficiency. This is
great. It was amazing.
This is the travel planner in her.
Yeah, exactly.
It was perfect. It was spot on.
Now how were they? Oh, sorry, no, continue.
Well, so the other thing was we walked through a lot of interesting neighborhoods. We also just stopped at a lot of shops and checked stuff out that was along the way. But yeah, I mean, the first place we went to was like your traditional bakery. They were like jerks. Like if you didn't know exactly what you wanted when you walked in, they would like yell at you.
Oh boy, yeah.
But then like the second bakery we went to, it's called Termini Brothers. It's like the exact opposite. Like we walked in and the guy asked, have we been there before and how could he help us? And we said no. And then we mentioned the cannoli tour. So the guy actually took us on a full tour of the whole bakery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he took us into the back room. They were filling cannoli for a wedding. We got some free samples. He took us into the cake decoration room. He then like rolled over this 55-gallon, school lunch Rubbermaid size trash can, and we were like, "What's going on?" And he lifts the top off and he goes, "This is full of buttercream frosting." And it was like 55 gallons of buttercream frosting. It was amazing. And then their cannolis were also the best too. Ricotta cheese cannolis was very, very good. I was always a mascarpone guy, but ricotta cheese, that was the winner of the day. Then the third one was like I can't remember the name, Varelli Brothers or Vitello Brothers. Just like the lady running it probably had been running it for 40 years. It was a tiny little cafe, tiny little seats inside, a bunch of locals chatting and talking in Italian accents. And that was fun. That was good. And then the fourth one we went to was a vegan bakery. So Sam got to get in on the cannoli action too and got a vegan cannoli as well. So that was delicious as well. But at that point, I was so stuffed full of dessert cheese that I was just like, give me a mini cannoli because I can't eat anymore.
Yeah.
But we stopped at like an antique store. We walked by a cool record store that was mobbed or else we would have gone in. We went to a new brewery. We went to a beer and wine store. I bought some ravioli at like a local ravioli manufacturer. I had it for dinner last night. It was delicious.
Nice.
It just turned into like a wonderful, wonderful day.
That's amazing. That's a great birthday day there. Yeah, that's fantastic. Holy shit. Nice work, Sam.
Bravo, Sam. Bravo.
And then me being an idiot, we went out to other half Philly later that night and met some friends. And drunk Matt decided to go home and house all the rest of the leftover cannolis when he was drunk. So yeah, that was a low point.
I'm sure it was delicious at the time.
Great.
Yeah, so no regrets.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll think about that when I, get my munchies and I'll go to town on something, and then the next day I'll be like, why did I eat that entire bag of value size hot fries? And, Andy Cap's hot fries, like the big size. I'm like, why did I eat that entire bag? That's so gross. Like, what the fuck? But in the moment, goddamn, it was awesome.
No, so. No regrets until you realize, like, I was saving one of those cannoli for someone.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, well, I ate it. Oops.
The worst part about this show is that we record so late and we talk about food all the time. And I'm just always so hungry.
Oh. Right, because you eat dinner early, right? You guys eat at like, what, 5:30, 6, something like that?
Yeah, sometime between then.
Oh man, I didn't finish eating until 8:30. Like I was like shoveling food.
Yeah, it's so funny. That was always interesting when we were growing up, and like, because Colin and I would eat at each other's houses and stuff like that pretty regularly, and our families were like the opposite. Like Colin's family eating at like 5:30. I feel like your dad, I feel like, was eating at 5.
I mean, these days he eats at like 4.
And our family was the opposite. I mean, in these days it's even worse. My parents are eating at like 9:30. I think a lot of the time,
so
but back in the day, 7:38. Yeah, exactly. Gone even further. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Then that means my family was the mean. We were at like 6 o'clock. It was like dinner is at 6. You're home at 6. Like.
That doesn't surprise me, actually. Thinking about like your dad and like the military background and everything, like that makes sense to me. That
you might think it's dad, but it was mom. Dinner's gonna be ready at 6. Like,
and that's that.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
interesting.
She'd get home at 5:30, and she'd already have like half of dinner prepped.
Okay.
And or the other half would be like we'd come home from school with instructions on a note like Put the casserole dish in the oven at 4:30 and set the temperature to 375. I will be home in time to take it out. And like that was it.
That's your impression of your mom giving instructions
That wasn't an impression.
is like a slightly British professor.
That was just the notepad.
Put the casserole in the oven.
That was the notepad speaking to me.
Oh, is the notepad. The notepad has a slightly British professorial accent.
Yes.
I see. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay.
Good stuff.
So yeah,
Matt.
you guys. Anyway, when you have your glazed orange, let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna drink it on the pod, but
Do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it tonight.
Tonight, no. I told you, Stella's potty training.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like you could use the extra beer from what you were saying about the potty training. Yeah.
Today was actually a good day. She went on the potty 2 times, so some golf claps.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Stella, Daddy's got to go potty too. He had too much beer tonight on the podcast.
Yeah. We were watching Sesame Street, like Elmo trying to like convince the kids, like it's good to go potty when you have to go, like type thing. This is where we've gotten to.
Has she been doing a Rick Sanchez impression and getting swifty and shitting on the floor? Has that been?
No, fortunately, the number 2 has not happened on the floor yet.
That's good. Okay. That's
definitely some number 1s though. Including today. Right before bed.
Holy shit.
See, I thought you were gonna go the opposite, Colin. I thought you were gonna be Rick Sanchez and his shy pooping.
Oh, that's right, and have a toilet like on a different planet.
Yeah,
that's
she's
right.
Go to the other room all by herself to shy pooping.
That's right. I forgot about that. Love it.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Matt, what college football stuff do you want to talk about? Because
the biggest story north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Syracuse Orange, 5-0.
There you go, right? The undefeated, nationally ranked Syracuse Orange.
Wait, they're ranked now?
Oh, they're like
number 22, 23?
Yeah.
When was the last time they were ranked?
Last week.
2018.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, really? That recently?
They were in the coaches poll last week, but not the AP or not the USA Today, whatever. They were in one, but not the other. But they're in both polls this week. Yeah, I think it's an over exaggeration. I don't think they need to be ranked. I don't think they're that good. I mean, I think they're good, but not that good. But anyway,
I think they're one of the top 25 teams.
You think so?
Yeah,
I give them top 35. I wouldn't get them top 25, but
yeah, it's so subjective. When you, especially when you get toward the bottom 25, like you could probably rotate like 10 different teams. And
now, what was funny, and I didn't realize this because I was busy. I was busy eating cannoli this weekend. So Syracuse was a 54-point favorite over Wagner. They ended up winning 59-0.
Yeah,
they were up 49-0 at half, and they agreed to, which I've heard of this before, but they agreed to do 10-minute quarters in the second half.
Oh,
to end the game quicker.
Wow.
Yeah. So the 10-minute quarters, what that does though, even though Syracuse beat that ridiculous spread, 10-minute quarters invalidates all bets. Caesar canceled all bets and returned the money.
Oh, so holy
they
shit!
Beat the spread even with less time, and everyone's pissed. Now,
wow.
Wagner is a football bowl or championship subdivision, 1AA essentially team, and they're like 1-21 in their last 3 seasons. So that's a 54-point spread. Maybe would have been generous actually. So not unexpected.
Is this one of the cases where SU paid Wagner a bunch of money?
Yeah.
So do you think the Wagner players, do they know that beforehand? Do they know, like, listen, okay, like you're outmatched. We're doing this for the money. You're going to get slaughtered. Just try to have fun or deal with it. Like, is that?
I mean, there's much more parity in college football these days, but when you're talking about the level that Wagner's on, that's a completely different league than even Syracuse, who's not obviously a world beater or anything.
Right.
But I mean, that's why you've got, I'm looking for it. I think
like those, why Matt's looking for that, why those MAC opponents, like they're not any walk in the park anymore. Like, the Buffaloes, the Central Michigans, Ohio.
Yeah, but that's also why you've got Kent State traveling to Washington, traveling to Oklahoma, and traveling to Georgia this year.
Yeah.
Because, they need the money. Now, granted, they only lost to Georgia 39-22. Not bad. Good.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah.
But I mean, each of those games are going to be between, what do you say, Colin, when you've read it? Like $500,000 and $1 million of revenue for the school.
Yeah. So it's more money than they probably make the entire season.
Yeah. And what they'll say is, hey, this funds the rest of our athletic department.
Right.
That's how they get
no, that makes sense. Yeah,
and it's not exclusive football. When Syracuse plays
Basketball, they do it too, right?
Northeastern University, they're paying $100,000 for them to come to the school.
Yeah.
But that's on the assumption that they're going to have, $250,000 of revenue from the dome that night. So that's part of the unfortunate economics of college sports, but also,
right.
I mean, I wish it wasn't this way, but the silver lining as well. Think of the athletes at Kent State who get opportunities in other sports
for sure
because of that.
Yeah.
The non-revenue generating sports as basically everything that's not baseball or football or basketball is described.
Right.
So, but now what they did with the league or the NCAA change probably 8 or 10 years ago, right, Colin, was teams, if they scheduled more than one football bowl or championship subdivision team, one AA team per year, they could only count one of those wins towards their bowl total for the year. Because there was a couple years where Syracuse actually scheduled 2, like they'd play like Colgate and Maine, and like, sorry, those are both 1 AA schools, so you can only count one of those towards your win total for a bowl.
Yeah, I did not know that. It's I mean, this is the difference between like following a Penn State versus following a Syracuse is it's kind of went in a cycle where like the Penn States of the world, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, Texas, the big schools, they were scheduling a lot of those cupcake games, for lack of a better word, for a long time. And then like the voters early in the playoff committee were rewarding like these really great non-conference matchups and everything. And now it almost seems like it hurts you if you lose that game more than it helps you if you win it.
Yeah.
And so like Franklin has said before, Penn State's head coach, like they don't want to be going to Auburn, for a non-conference game. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be playing FCS teams or whatever they are called now, but I think there's a reason why the SEC still has that, what's it, like the week 11 game where like they always play
Troy.
They're one of their non-conference games instead of loading them up in the first 3 weeks like all the other conferences do. There's a reason the SEC still schedules those games, is because they know it's a grueling schedule in conference, and that you need those cupcake games to just get healthy, to give people some playing time, get them some reps and everything. Like it's not about the little guys, it's about the big guys in this case.
But every so often you get an Appalachian State at Michigan.
See, but that's what I was talking about earlier. App State's not even in the same conversation.
I know, but every once in a while it happens.
Back in 2007 when they did it to Michigan, that legit was a big deal.
Yeah.
But what they did this year to whoever they beat,
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame, not surprising at all. I mean, first off, it's Notre Dame. Second off, it's they're not that far off in terms of talent, like depth. When it comes to depth these days, that's the biggest difference. Like there's just more depth in these mid-major, they'd be called mid-major schools in college basketball, than there was even 10 years ago.
Yeah, but remember, there's like 330 schools in college basketball. There's like 117 in college football.
Yeah.
So,
which is why the depth has increased, is because there's less opportunities.
There's more opportunities if you look at the total roster size.
True.
But I'm not fighting you on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Syracuse plays this weekend.
They play NC State this weekend, or no, they're off this weekend. They play NC State next weekend.
Oh, so Penn State and Syracuse are both off, so we get to enjoy this for another week at least.
Because the big the Troy Nunes is an absolute musician, a blog. That's an SB Nation blog.
Yeah.
A magician. Excuse me.
Yes.
Troy Nunes is not a musician; he's a magician.
Right.
Did an article just essentially telling everyone in Syracuse to like cool your jets, because everyone's trying to say that College Game Day should come to Syracuse, and it's like, Nah, you can't even sell at the Dome. I don't think you deserve College game day.
Is the game in Syracuse?
Yeah, it's in
next
Syracuse.
week?
It's They said the first meeting of duly ranked football teams at the Dome since 2001.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
I
fuck.
mean, that's a big deal, but not to throw anything on it. But Penn State plays Michigan at the Big House that same day, so there's a good chance game day is going to Michigan.
Yeah.
I think they said no because that's like the Fox game of the day or something.
It is. It's the big noon kickoff. They just announced it.
So Fox gets the
the rights
to the game. Yeah,
You're right.
No, there's blogs out there that are literally going through like, well, game day is going to be at Alabama the week before, blah blah blah. So we don't want. They're not going to go to Alabama again, and they're not going to do 2 straight Kansas games. Blah, 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 blah. So it has to be Syracuse. Blah. But now it's all nonsense. I don't actually know where they're going the week before. I don't care about game day. Frankly, was it Lee Corso is his name? He can.
Oh yeah, Lee Corso. Is he still doing it?
He's annoying.
Wow, he's got to be old at this point.
He's annoying.
Like late 80s.
Wow.
As a fellow college mascot, I can say you don't deserve to wear that hat. Anyway, you were about to say something, Colin.
Well, I was going to say on that Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, whatever it is, 15th. A few days ago, a friend of the podcast, Joe Posnanski, announced that him and Michael Schur will be in Charlotte at a local bookstore talking about Michael Schur's new book. And it's a free event, 2:00 Eastern. And I was just saying to Timmy the other day, I was like, I really want to go, but the Penn State game hasn't been announced yet. And I was like, I'm worried it's going to be the big noon game because it's going to be a top 10 matchup and it's Penn State, Michigan, blah, blah, blah. 40 minutes later, I think it got announced.
You jinxed it.
It's the big noon, and I'm in a dilemma. I'm like, do I go try to meet 2 of my favorite people and miss like an hour of the game at least? More of it, I'll listen to some of it on the radio, obviously. Do I wait to see like, is Penn State in it? Because it is, I get like an hour and a half window before I'd have to say like, all right, let me drive to the bookstore. So I could legitimately just see what the score is and then like kind of base my decision off of that. You guys just know, I remember this like when I think it was game 6 of the 2017 ALCS was on the same night as Penn State, Michigan in 2017. And you were like, what are you watching? And I was like, Michigan, Penn State. And you were both like, I think Matt was like kind of like appalled by it. And I was just like, it's just hard to explain how much these games mean to me. And especially when it's against Michigan. It's just hard for me.
I mean, we just talked last week. That was the most painful loss of your life.
Right.
I mean, some people want to watch garbage and some people want to watch baseball. It's okay.
It's
in this case, I want to go see two of my favorite people are in my city. And I'm like, of course, the biggest game of the year to this point is at the same time. I don't know what to do.
It's really funny. Obviously we talk mostly about baseball here, right? And we're all such massive Yankee fans, and baseball, I would say, is generally like all of our favorite sport. But that being said, I feel like for Call, Penn State football, I feel like has like more of an emotional pull on you than Yankee baseball, which is so crazy to think about because like Yankee baseball is like, has been, I mean, we've talked about it, right? That's like what music is for me and I mean, obviously I love Yankee baseball, but like your love of Yankee baseball is like music for me. But like Penn State, I feel like is even a little stronger, which is really kind of wild to think about. For me, it's a no-brainer. Like I would go see Joe Paz and Mike Schur, obviously, but I don't know what it's like to love a sports team the way you love Penn State football. But like Toddy said, when we had Joe Paz on the pod, she sent us a text like the next day, and she was like, "Ethan, you were wine rack excited," and she was right. I've been wine rack excited very, very few times in my life, but Joe Paz on the podcast was one of them. That's for sure. So meeting him and Mike Schur in person, I mean, I'd lose my fucking mind. Like,
but there's no guarantee that I'm gonna actually
meet them. That's true.
I feel like it's a free event.
You could like watch them speak and whatnot, but
like, I just feel like the chances of me actually meeting them are quite low.
That's fair. Yeah.
I feel like I'd have a better chance of meeting Joe Paz, like kind of on his own, going through our
Just like,
contact
yeah.
and everything, than I would at this actual event, just because the amount of people that I anticipate are going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're probably right. Yeah. Oh, look at Boris. Look at the podcast.
Yeah, he's surprisingly relaxed.
Yeah,
He's
he looks
chill right
kind of
now.
cozy right there. I feel like he's usually a little agitated when you uh-huh.
So, does the podcast have any thoughts on the legendary potential Cal matchup coming up this Sunday in London between Aaron Rodgers and Davis Webb?
I didn't even wait. Davis Webb.
Danny Dimes might be out.
Really? Second,
Jaquan Brisker, the All-American from Penn State, sacked him the other day, and it might have seriously injured him.
The New York Giants' second leading rusher, Daniel Jones, might be out.
Yep, and Taylor came in, immediately got a concussion, and yep.
I actually saw a caption today that was a fake Aaron Rodgers quote that was like, "Good thing the Giants exist, or everyone would realize how much the Packers suck." Because I mean the Packers have been largely unimpressive so far this year. We squeaked by a couple wins, but it's been largely unimpressive. Yeah. I didn't realize. The only reason I know that he was the second leading rusher on the team is I was trying to look up some Saquon stats and some Giant stats to poke holes in your excitement there. But
the Saquon stuff is legit.
Well, I mean, yeah, but Saquon, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are also legit. Just the two of them equal one Saquon. But yeah, that was what I was kind of surprised that Saquon plus Daniel Jones is about the same as Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, which is comical to me. Now, passing wise, it's a little bit different story, but we'll let that be.
Yeah. So you didn't answer the question. Are you excited for the Cal matchup?
No, I'm not. I think the London games are a little dumb. This is the first time the Packers have had to go. They're one of the last teams to go over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think the Giants have been there. They've definitely been there at least once. I think they've been there a couple times though.
They've been a holdout. This is finally their chance to go over and play a game. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm glad they're trying to expand the team, the sports reach over to Europe. Yeah. I do remember thinking it was really cool back in 2012 and 2013 when I met coworkers in the same program that I was at GE that were from Hungary. That, the guy was like, one of the guys was looking for an NFL shop because he wanted to buy Steelers gear because the soccer team from his hometown was the same color as the Steelers. So the Steelers were his favorite football team in the United States. And I was like, buddy, you might not want to go around Cleveland asking for Steelers gear, just as a heads up. Kind of like, the Packers play in Philadelphia later this year. And my brother was like, "Hey, you want to go? I can get you tickets for your birthday." And I was like, "I don't want to die." So I may, let's just say, go to a bar and drink and watch the game or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm actually not very excited, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah. I mean, I'm genuinely curious. I don't even know if it would make a difference if it was a blowout, if the Giants squeaked out a 1-point win, but if the Giants won this game, how would you feel about it? Just knowing that it's very likely that Daniel Jones is not playing. It's very likely that Tyrod Taylor's not playing.
Well, and this is me not being a dick to poke you guys. Like, even with Daniel Jones, I feel like the Giants are a team the Packers should still beat, even if they are 3-1.
Right. That's
what I'm saying. So if they don't beat him without Daniel Jones, I mean, but we also lost to a third string quarterback on the Patriots last week. So,
Wait, I thought you won.
We almost lost.
Oh, almost lost. Yeah.
Oh, almost. Yeah. So it's one of those things where the Packers have not been impressive. And while Aaron Rodgers is still, I'd say, an elite quarterback in the league, he's looked pedestrian so far through 4 starts. I mean, I think he's thrown 3 or 4 picks. He's
Wow.
Think about it this way: last year against the Saints in the opener, Aaron Rodgers threw 2 picks. Then he threw 2 picks the rest of the year.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
That's the kind of that's a normal season for him, which is nuts.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I'm being spoiled after, gunslinger Brett Favre just throwing the ball. Which, by the way, fuck Brett Favre. He can be taken off the Ring of Honor at Green Bay. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't want to hear about anything
Team
from him
owner,
other than him
Matt
going
Root.
to jail.
Yeah, it's really, really sad, really depressing.
Yeah. I'm glad I've never bought an NFL jersey, because I would probably have a Favre jersey and I would love to burn it. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
We can go about that more some other time, but he's still well for money and did so many illegal things.
Yeah.
By the way, he wasn't a great guy before this anyway.
No.
He would harass people and send dick pics around.
Yeah. Really, really depressing, really disappointing. Yeah. I
Anyway,
mean, it's
there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, real quick. 2 things to just to tie a bow on that. Joe Paz and Mike Schur were talking about this on a recent episode about how being a sports fan means moral compromise. Like there are going to be shitty people no matter what sport. It seems to me that the NFL, maybe the proportion is a little bit higher. But regardless, like we know in baseball, I mean, look at Aroldis Chapman and look at what the Yankees did in terms of his whole situation. Like that is really shitty all across the board. And so it just means more, being a sports fan, like there are going to be things that are just like so against your ideas of morality. And, you have to decide kind of how to sort of live with that. And it can be, we can go into this a different time. Right. But it's an interesting idea. What I wanted to get to, because it's already getting kind of late, but Kyle went to the Penn State game last week and I know I had checked in on the game at one point and they were winning, but I didn't check the final score. Did they win? How was it? What's the deal? How was the experience? Yeah.
They won. It was probably the sloppiest football game I think I've ever seen in person. I believe there was 9 total turnovers, 5 by Penn State, 4 by Northwestern.
Wow.
It was super cold and rainy. The hurricane had made its way up, tropical storm at that point, to Pennsylvania. And no excuse for the sloppiness, but I'm sure it didn't help and everything. Wild surprise, John Stevens, Maggie Stevens, shout out, love you guys,
love them. Yeah, they're the best.
They were there. John had talked about going. He had gotten tickets through work or whatever, and Toddy was typical Toddy fashion. Didn't understand that he was serious about it and everything. And I was at one point looking into something, and then life happened, and I forgot about it. And I'm sitting in the stadium, and we get a text in our group chat, and it's a picture of Maggie, and I'm looking at it, and obviously I know they're at the Penn State game, but not only that, I'm looking at it and I'm like, they're really close. I'm just seeing what's around them and everything. They were 2 sections over.
Oh wow.
So just walked over, spent some time with them, hung out and everything.
That's awesome.
That was the best part of the game, because the game itself was awful.
What was the final?
17-7.
Oh wow.
They were 24 and a half point favorite or something like that. Maybe if they didn't fumble the ball 4 times and throw an interception, they would have.
Yeah.
They never had lower than a 90.7% win probability, but
oh yeah, Northwestern never threatened. Yeah,
those smart
they're
guys.
Terrible. Yeah, they're terrible for sure. But it was great. I got to spend a lot of time with my mom. My uncle came up from New Orleans, so definitely got to see some family. And I hadn't been to Penn State since 2018, so all things considered, it was a good quick trip up to Pennsylvania. And then I got home and I was waiting on Judge to hit number 62. In the meantime, the Giants were on their way to going 3-1, and Saquon had another hell of a game. I think Matt, out of the three of us, when we had to do our convincing, Matt might be the closest. I'm definitely second closest. Like, the Packers could legitimately make the Super Bowl, but like, loving the NFL at this point in the season, Ethan, you're way off. Way off.
Yeah, that was a difficult one.
So did you go to Voodoo, or were you just at Happy Valley Brewing?
Just Happy Valley. Yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
That's okay. They charge like $8 a draft now. It's kind of not worth it. And they're non super rare barrel aged beers are just okay. Like, yeah. So you could have gotten some Sticks beer, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a little bit of context. So I was with a bunch of older people, and we had to wait roughly about an hour and a half just to get seated for dinner.
Wow.
And at one point, the guy, one of the guys that was there, checked to see like where we were on the list and realized that there were like 5 groups still ahead of us, and like, in disgust, turned and like, didn't do it on purpose, but turned right into one of the poles and smashed his beer in glass, like, went all over the place and everything. Like, at the same time, he was like saying like, Jesus Christ, or something like that. We just weren't going anywhere after that, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, if it was warmer, I would say definitely go down there, because they've got like a nice large outdoor seating area right by the creek, but not when it's like this.
Yeah. I
mean,
it's like you had said the parking was limited and it was
parking sucks, and it's right below a seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
So either it's like, I want a lobster roll, or like, bleh. So usually when I go there, I'm like stopping in, grabbing a beer, grabbing my lottery bottle winnings, and leaving. So.
Well, I just want to say that if Saquon goes off on a crazy run on Sunday, you will never hear the end of it, Matt. It'll be worse. It'll be worse than the Eli Manning stuff. So be ready.
I mean, there's a chance it happens. What's funny though is if it happens and they still lose.
Well, that this is the part that worries me now, is like, Jones, as you've alluded to a bunch of times, is a threat to run.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they haven't been able to stack the box against Barkley. But like, if Davis Webb or Jake Fromm or any of these guys are playing quarterback, like, they ain't going to be worried about them running. So, you can still get, I mean, that's Saquon's big crazy play the other day was on a screen pass where, again, he was going to immediately get hit behind the line of scrimmage, broke the tackle, ran from one side of the field to the other, then ran up like 30 yards. So, I mean, he's definitely got the athleticism back and the spring in his step back and everything. But now I just worry that the offensive line is marginally better, but it's certainly not great still. It's not even good.
I do wish the stats that I had found were updated to some more recent seasons, because I mean, it did, as much as I like shit on him and say, well, he could be better. He is in the top, I'd say 5 or 6 running backs in the league of like having to make something from nothing a lot of the time. So like the names on the list were like Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, I think Lynch was on there, and Barkley were the ones I can remember, where it was like essentially those guys all on average were getting hit before the line of scrimmage. I think Henry was the best, and I think Chubb was the second best, actually.
The Henry one's surprising
in terms of like turning that potential negative play into a positive play in yards after first touch. But I mean, he is up there. It is damning out there. I just was looking at the data to try and needle you a little bit.
Yeah.
I do. I'm still happy about how angry I made Ethan last week.
What was it about again?
I told you to calm down about hustling.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And Vladdy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was fired up. Yeah.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you really got me. You got me good that time. Fuck. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
So what other oh well, hey, you guys, anyone else, while we're talking other sports, or I'm bringing up other sports, Anyone else see Kareem's Substack today? Against or talking about Kyrie Irving.
The other day, yes, I did
Kareem?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem's a great writer. Yeah,
Wait, really?
Substack.
Oh,
Yeah.
holy shit!
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
He's so even if you haven't watched the FX show Dave,
Yeah, I know of it. I haven't watched it.
watch Dave first of all.
Okay.
You can watch Dave because in the second season, Kareem stars as himself as a writer, and it's amazing.
Holy shit! Okay.
Yeah, he's a prolific writer, and took Kyrie to task over a tweet that Kyrie had supporting Alex Jones.
Oh no!
Yeah, Kyrie essentially said like, "Oh, Alex Jones tried to warn us," and Kareem was like, I believe the article title I read was "Kareem dunks all over Kyrie." Essentially said like, called him like an uneducated, gelatinous doofus or something ridiculous like that, and like Kyrie is what happens when the education system fails.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Kareem, every week he writes a column where he reacts to the top stories in the news, and a lot of them are politics related, sports related. But yeah, the Kyrie thing, I mean, he definitely doesn't hold back, and rightfully so. I mean, Kareem is, for his age, 75, like still very sharp,
very in touch with
Wow.
very Toddy thinks my love affair with Kareem is a little crazy, but I think he's awesome. Like one of the coolest people to, I mean, yeah, it all started because he was a Laker, and that's why, I even paid attention to him in the first place. But like, just knowing all the activist work that he's done, and the thing, I've read a bunch of his books and everything. Like, he's a really thoughtful and interesting person.
So he said that Kyrie's statements possessed incredible gelatinous ignorance. And just the phrase gelatinous ignorance, I think, is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure, if I remember the Dave episode correctly, which, by the way, I encourage everyone to watch Dave. It is the fictionalized autobiographical story of Lil Dicky.
That's his name. I was trying to remember.
Yeah. And I believe the whole crux of the Kareem episode is like Kareem needling about like him as a white rapper stealing black culture. And it's just amazing. It's because Kareem like nails it over and over again about like taking him to task. And it's hilarious. And season 1's great, but season 2 I couldn't make it through because it's like one of those shows that also makes you uncomfortable. But it was very well done. I highly recommend Dave to everyone. Not safe for work though. Don't like it. He talks about his penis a lot. Also some really heartfelt episodes. Also some really hilarious episodes. Highly recommended.
Sweet. Do we have anything on the docket that we were supposed to get to?
Nothing serious that I had.
Wasn't there something? I thought there was like a prompt or something from last week that you had mentioned that we were supposed to address this week. No?
Cousin Greg gave me props for my correct pronunciation of farfal.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And he offered Mama Root some dough tips, which I will have to take him up on that, because like my mom is a freaking amazing person in the kitchen. Like she's like going through the scientific method. Like she made me and Sam some horseradish pickles, and she was like, I want your feedback because I want to know how I can tweak the recipe to make it so it tastes like you expect it to taste. Like all of her famous recipes are just things she's tweaked. Like the buffalo chicken dip is her taking another recipe and being like, I can make it better. And then she does, and it's amazing. Same with the cookies. It's like, I can make this better.
Oh, definitely.
So she to hear her say a couple weeks ago, like, I still haven't figured out pizza dough, is like amazing, because that, I don't know, I'm trying to think like an equivalent, like it's like me saying to, Ethan in high school, like I still haven't figured out social studies or something. Like it's something that I would just assume she would know everything about because she knows everything about everything in the kitchen. She's amazing, but she still wants to try and figure that out. And if I can get a jabroni brother to coach her up, that would be amazing. I'm also trying to like convince my dad that he wants an uni, which are those like backyard pizza ovens.
Ooh.
They're really expensive, so I'm like trying to convince him like, can Dave and I, my brother and I, go in on this for you for like Father's Day, your birthday, and Christmas together, and just get you one? Because like if you get one, that means we get delicious pizza too. So we're trying to convince him of that.
Right.
That's not going well. He does love wood-fired pizza though, and it's literally a backyard wood-fired pizza oven.
Wow.
So we'll, that's a work in progress too. But
Mama Root, A, B, G, always be growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Ethan, I have 4 of those dark chocolate mint Icelandic chocolate bars just waiting for cookies this year. So don't worry.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You'll get
Okay.
some.
All right. Hell yeah.
In the meantime, you guys will have to subsist on the tasty cakes and chocolate I sent you. So Colin got tasty cakes and chocolate. You just got chocolate, Ethan.
Yeah.
But Tony Chocolonely is delicious. So
Yeah. We tried some. It's very good.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
I've already eaten the tasty cakes too. So
Good. I controlled myself. I did not open either of the boxes. I was like really tempted, but I was like,
you could have.
If I open one box,
taken
I'm
one.
gonna eat like half of the box, and that's not good.
just take one next time. I didn't know you were gonna send 2. I opened. That was the first thing I said. Oh, 2 boxes.
There was space in those that flat rate shipper. I had to take up the space for you, right?
True.
I can't leave unused space. If I leave unused space, and you get what Ethan got, which was just like half a box of shredded paper.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Because I only sent him a couple cans of beer. Like he got some more beer than you did, but
I'm fucking chopped liver over here.
Hey, you got 2 heady toppers.
Yeah, that's true. I did get 2 headies.
A bonus lager. So
that's true.
Nice.
But Colin only got 1 glazed orange and 1 heady topper.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good deal all around. The other shout out to cousin Greg is the Phillies are in the postseason for the first time since Ryan Howard ruptured his Achilles in 2011.
Wait, really? It's been that long?
The longest playoff drought in National League is officially over. Is the Mariners have also clinched. So the longest drought in the American League is also over in the same season. So
yeah, pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. Obviously, there's more playoff spots these days. I mean, the fact that the 110 plus win Dodgers have a lower percentage, of odds of winning the World Series than the Houston Astros just tells you how much of a crapshoot the playoffs are these days.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
It's just crazy. So
I'm just ready for all of the like Hunt for Red October banner or billboards to go down around Philly because those are getting really annoying.
Well, they're up for at least another week or so.
Paint October red, Hunt for Red October, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. Kyle Schwarber hit some home runs.
I think by the time we record next week, the wild card series may be over because it's only a 3-game series.
Oh, when are those starting? What, this weekend?
Friday, I believe.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So we should be able to recap the first round, and we'll know who the Yankees are going to be playing, and everyone else who has locked up a division series date already, and we'll be in the thick of things. So lots to come. Also, bye Tony La Russa.
Yeah, he's retiring, right?
Peace.
Yep. For his health.
For good.
Hey, random baseball stat. You know that Bryce Harper guy? He's been around forever. He's not 30.
Yeah. He was 19. He was 19 his rookie year.
He turns 30 in 12 days.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like Aaron Judge is older than Bryce Harper. Fuck.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
100%.
Yep. Quick shout out before we're done to my brother Jeremy. 2 things. Number 1, last week he texted me to tell me that I need to step away from my mic, that it was too loud. And I said that I was not very close to my mic, so maybe the gain was too loud. So I turned the gain down this week. So Jeremy, text me after you listen to this and let me know. That's the first thing. Second thing is he literally texted me while we were recording. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this. He was just offered a promotion at his job. Now I don't know the details.
Woo! Fuck yeah.
Yep. I don't know the details. I don't know what the money benefit situation would be or whatever. But congrats to him on getting offered a promotion.
Keep fucking kicking ass, Jeremy. Awesome job.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that means that we do officially have to get brother Jeremy back on.
Yeah, we got to get him back on.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yep.
And Lorraine, get on the pod too. I want to send you a mug.
Yeah. Everyone who wants to be on the podcast, sign up. There's a waiting list.
Guys, I've got so many mugs. I need to get rid of the mugs on the podcast. Everyone who's listening, please.
And we, as we established a few episodes ago, Ethan's guest, the physicist or whatever the fuck it is, won't ever come on. And if he does, it'll be 3 years from now.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
You got plenty of time to jump the line.
University of Illinois baseball physicist. I've got mugs.
Yeah, he already listens to this show, no doubt. Yeah.
All right, boys. Another great week.
We did it. 62.
We did it.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
We
say it. Don't
are.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
Gross.
say it. Don't. Blah.